Welcome back to the F1 podcast. I'm joined by David.
And it's Alan's out and away we go.
Yeah. Alan won't be with us for this podcast, but he will be back, hopefully, for the next one. So,
Here we are again, 2023.
yeah, with quite a few surprises in store.
Why, did you not fully predict what was going to happen?
I wish I could have predicted. I wish I could have put money on that.
Oh, tell me about it. But yeah, the Bahrain Grand Prix, now the season opener, it appears that has finally been wrestled from Australia's cold, dead hands.
Well, that'll be the fifth. What's the fifth time?
It's not been as long as that since we had an opener in Australia. I thought it was COVID. It was only the COVID year it got switched, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it's the fifth time that it's actually been classed as the season opener for some bizarre reason.
Yeah, 2021 it was. Then 2020 got cancelled. Anyway, I thought it was Australia in 2019. So that's only
Yeah.
4 years ago. But anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about.
No.
If you want to hear the calendar podcast, that's Thursdays on.
And I mean, before we get into it, I mean, we both didn't actually see any or hardly any of pre-season testing, so we didn't know what to expect.
I saw none. I only saw headlines through Facebook and obviously through work and various things. I wasn't,
Hmm. I take it,
and
I take it you didn't catch any of practice.
nope, I caught most of Q3,
Hmm.
kind of, and then obviously into the race. I just work and that the way it is, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's one of them where it wasn't at a bad time, but it wasn't to me like 5, 6 o'clock. I have a far better chance of being available. 3 o'clock still pushing it a little bit for me to be.
But you're gonna be good.
I think it's about the same time for Saudi next week, isn't it?
Uh.
Or will it be later? Actually, it could be later.
Saudi.
5 o'clock
Saudi's
at night.
5.
5 o'clock at night. That's not too bad.
Then it'd be Australia that's the shitter. So we have
5 o'clock at night on Mother's Day. So good luck getting that one past her, mate.
quite easy. Yeah, well, it's the Spanish one that needs to be done on race night.
Yeah, we can cross that bridge when we get there.
Um,
The only reason we don't do them on race night now is because there was such a run last season. For anybody listening to this who's wondering why, we had a real run last season where the FIA decided to go for a conference before making certain results. And we felt it was better that we sit back a day, and usually by the time we're recording this, which is Monday night, we actually have a confirmed result.
yeah,
We had 2 or 3 where we were sat there thinking, well, such and such could be third, but we're waiting on the FIA to decide it.
yeah, and that's
And
why.
it just wasn't really working for us, so we
No,
decided to put it back a day.
yeah, but
But hopefully the FIA seem to have so far this year not be as
well, it's only
unless
one.
your name's Ocon.
Well, yeah, I can see him getting fined for speeding.
Thing is, the speeding of the penalty. Thing is, like the not serving the penalty penalty is not his fault. That's team.
Yeah, that's team.
Your pit not being on the grid correctly. I can imagine how difficult it is to place that car. Now he didn't get a jump start, so he obviously didn't move before the lights went green.
No,
But they reckon he must have been just slightly too far forward in his box. So it's one of them. That's bad luck. It's probably something that every driver will want that extra
yeah.
couple of inches you can get by being right on the front of your line. And sometimes you just get it wrong.
But yeah, no, like we say, no, we didn't see pre-season testing. Practice I saw, but practice was just practice, and Alonso topping timesheets, and it's like, what? And then,
Especially if your name's one S. Vettel from Germany, who sat back there going, "What the fuck?"
yeah, did I make my decision too soon? But I actually,
And I tell you what, can we roll back to all those podcasts where we were saying what a bad decision Alonso's making going to Aston Martin?
yeah,
Do you want some salt for that foot?
I know. That's what, yeah, but I just didn't see it coming. I
None
mean,
of us saw it because last season's Aston Martin was a
was
dog.
shit. It
And
was.
talking as a guy who loves Aston Martin cars, I'm so happy to see the Astons doing well.
Yeah.
You know, I mentioned that's why Alan's not here tonight because I'd be calling him an Aston Martin fan all night.
It was
As you know,
just,
as you know the meme I sent through the chat.
yeah. It was just when I saw the practice, I was like, ooh, Alonso topping timesheets. That could get very spicy. And you know, there was definitely a fair bit of sandbagging going on this year in
I think there was a fair
practices.
bit of sandbagging on going on during that first race. To be honest, I reckon Red Bull would have turned that car down to half power once it got gone.
Yeah, because he got a hell of a lead, but yet again, it worked on strategy. I mean, qualifying was just the usual qualifying. It wasn't Bahrain. I don't know what it is about Bahrain in terms of. I'm going to use the words loosely. It's not that eventful.
I think it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's a very sterile circuit.
Yeah,
And I think because don't forget the drivers had literally just got off like 10 race distances worth of testing,
yeah,
they're all very, very, very familiar with it by the time they get there.
mm,
I think that's certainly a large part of it. I think they don't. But I know what
yeah,
you mean. It's a circuit I like, as I think I've said
yeah.
before.
I
I've
love
always
Bahrain.
enjoyed it, and I mean, it provided us with a what I thought was an entertaining race.
It was entertaining, but just yeah, it just didn't wasn't as wasn't as
Plus let's
gripping.
also factor in. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of heroics, but it was the season opener, so you can see a lot not wanting to go for the big hero
Yeah.
moves. Because the last thing you want to do is take an engine and gearbox out the pool.
What you mean, like the cloud's already done?
That wasn't driver, was it? Something you've.
No.
I actually noticed as he was pulling to a stop, the middle of the steering wheel said something like refill.
Mm,
So I wonder if it lost hydraulics or air pressure or something like that.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know if Ferrari have confirmed anything or
Not that what I can see at the moment. No.
as to what happened to it. I mean, we know we're kind of jumping around a little bit, but this is kind of how we do it.
Yeah, we always do.
But we had that ongoing issue with the McLaren where they were having to get putting air in it.
Yeah, because of his.
It's just the air system now. There's a few systems on there that are operated by air.
Uh,
I've got a thing in it, don't I say? Apparently, it says Leclerc took new energy store and control power unit before the race.
yeah, it did. They put a new. Apparently, they put a new battery in,
Well, I think I need to go and check if there's any warranty on it.
which was weird. They did. They put a new because they put yeah because they were doing on the grid, and then they put a new battery in.
Well, right,
Because I heard them talking about it in the pre build up the going back a bit here, the grid walk was a bit weird.
I
Wasn't
actually didn't see it. I
Yeah,
literally flew
wasn't
into
as
something.
usual, but Clarkson was on it.
I saw you saying about that.
Yeah,
Obviously, the farming work must have quietened down at the moment.
well apparently his daughter's an F1 fan and something like that he was saying. But
He hadn't taken Caleb with him, had
Caleb wouldn't bloody go out of the country.
he? Only if you could take a tractor.
Yeah. Um. I mean, it was a weird grid walk. Weird, basically, start of the race. I mean, well, the start of the race was interesting. Perez didn't get away cleanly at all.
Perez had a shit start.
I was
Perez had a
expecting,
really shit
yeah,
start.
I was expecting him to have a belter of a start.
He had a shit start, and then his compensation for it was to run sight so far off the side of the track that he very nearly had to pay to get back in.
Mm.
They were well off the side of the circuit. Now, he did well to, I think, to actually grab it back.
And then you had the likes of the two Aston Martins coming together
Yeah.
slightly. But
Then you had somebody running into Fernando Alonso, and nobody dare tell Fernando Alonso who it was.
no, but fair play that to show how rigid the car is, he was lucky to not get a puncture.
Yeah, well, let's not forget that's that same Aston Martin that last year went down the track pulling wheelies
No,
and still managed to finish the race.
no, he was in the Alpine last year. Don't forget.
Of course, yeah, I shit corrected.
And it was the Alpine that Stroll ended up putting up in the air.
Yeah, that.
But it was like when I'm I'm not going to shit on Stroll because I
He
still
actually gave a solid result.
I still
Fair.
think that seat should be given to somebody else. But to have his bike accident, have surgery on his hands, literally like keyhole surgery he had on his hands as
Mm.
well, a broken toe on one of his feet,
And to be back in racing again.
and to be cleared fit for racing. Yeah, I watched practice and his hands were in FP2. He basically was taking his hand, one of his left hand out of the cockpit and over so he could cross because it was, and the vibration was wrecking his hands a bit. But for him to finish where he did, fair play.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But maybe somebody needs to tell him, look, it's the green car. He's your teammate. You know,
Yeah.
each
Maybe
I
don't maybe don't run into Fernando. Try
yeah
not to.
yeah. Try not to run into him because you know
That's
he
not part of L plan.
he won't like you very much if you do.
Apparently, he spent a good deal of the race asking on the radio about it. None of
Who
them
it
dare
was,
actually do.
yeah,
Yeah.
and nobody told him. And I don't know if they told him or not, because they must have done, because he saw what happened when they showed him in the cool down room.
I reckon they'll have told him on the cool down lap because if they didn't, some reporter would have collared him for a race interview and gone, "What do you think about Stroll running into the back of you then?"
Yeah, and it's like, wait, what?
And they'd have wanted a controlled reaction. Because other than that, he was in one of the jolliest moods I think I've ever seen him in.
Yeah,
And he said that when they're driving round Mercs, I mean, it put anybody in a good mood, but
yeah. Well, it didn't. I don't think the camera caught what he'd said to Stroll.
mm,
I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was along the lines of something like you fucking something. Basically, because of Oh no, that was it. Was it something like "You're my fucking hero" or something like that? Because of
Mm,
I can't. I think it was Fernando himself that had a similar thing and done something similar, so I
mm.
think he understood. And it's just like, yeah, I mean, we're sat here talking about Fernando, but yet again, last season we talked about Fernando, but for other things, like the fact
Yeah.
that the Alpine went wheelie, but
Mm.
finished the race. But to be talking about him because he was on the podium, it was like, and he's been very sort of a hot topic ever since he announced he was going to Aston Martin.
Well, like I say, I'll stand by and say we all thought that was going to be a mistake.
We did.
We've been proven wrong.
We have. I mean, yeah, I bet it did piss Mercedes off. Well, I
Yeah.
mean,
Watching one of the customer cars well and truly outdrag them.
yeah. I mean, not on the Hamilton fans will have been upset already because Nico was on the screen and high praising Fernando.
I'm sorry, I love it when they do that when Sky wheel Nico out because you can hear the Hamilton fans frothing at a distance. It's great.
Yeah, but what? Because I was watching it and he was bigging Fernando up, and I was just sat there thinking, oh, love it. And I mean, yeah, Fernando may not be the youngest driver there.
Well, he's now the oldest, isn't he?
I think so.
Well, who else on that grid? The exception of somebody like maybe K Mag, but I'm pretty sure Fernando is now the oldest driver.
Because Hamilton's 30 odd.
I think Alonso's 41, isn't he?
I think Alonso is in his 40s. But it's just,
I, I know, to all listening, yeah, that's so old.
but it's just like, he's no,
He's clearly still got the speed. He's
he's
clearly
no,
still got the ability.
exactly, that's what I mean. He's no spring chicken, but to be able to do what he does at that age, I mean, well, it's the likes of Mario and like to talk about somebody else that is old enough. It's like Mario Andretti when he got in the McLaren
Mm.
at his age, and it's just like how,
Fair player probably couldn't do it now.
and it's just it boggles me because it's like we sit here, we can talk the talk, we take the piss, we do it on the, we drive on the game,
Mm.
but I'm sure as shit confident there would no way I would be able to get into an F1 car
Oh no, I'd never fit in one.
and do what they do.
Not a cat in hell's chance.
I mean, yeah, I know they spend a lot of time on, they spend time on sim and stuff like that, but it's not just obviously about the simulator from them, it's reaction
Mm.
times, it's fitness levels, and it's just like, holy crap, you've got, they are some of the best among some of the best drivers in the world.
Oh yeah, probably
Alonso,
some of the best athletes in
yeah,
the world.
Alonso has 99 podiums.
And getting number 100 this year doesn't seem entirely unlikely the way things are going.
No, that's, even Max doesn't have them podiums. Max has only got 78. Perez has only got 27.
99 will put him, I would reckon, probably in the top 5 of all time, wouldn't it?
Well, Hamilton's got 191.
Mm.
Uh,
Hang on, don't say it. Next, Schumacher. Well,
but it will be.
yeah, but don't forget there was a lot less races back when he won.
Yeah, but it will be Schumacher because of the record
Hmm.
as well. I mean, it's just
Yeah. An article here from the 20th of February, so probably don't take into account. Goes Lewis,
mm,
Michael,
yep,
Seb,
yep,
Prost,
yeah,
and the King.
Senna,
No, King Kimmy.
Kimi.
Yeah, he's apparently number 5 with 103.
Bloody hell! I didn't realise Kimi had that many.
Yeah, don't forget he had 2 world championships when he was at Ferrari. No, for one, sorry, only one, 2007. But he also, they said, didn't he, until literally this weekend, he had the record for the longest gap between podiums.
Alonso did, yeah.
No, Kimi, Alonso's just got it. Kimi had it,
Yeah, Kimi had it, but Alonso,
has got it this weekend.
yeah.
Yeah, Kimi had it because like, obviously he did his when he went out and tried rallying and that.
Mm,
I still love it. You remember the famous story of how Kimi Raikkonen nearly bankrupted Lotus in their first season.
yeah,
When he put a clause in his contract, he got paid per point. When he scored about 300.
yeah. But I mean, Mercedes were all right. They weren't.
I think Mercedes have to take away that was about the best they were going to get. Like I said,
Yeah,
I don't think they didn't expect an Aston Martin to be in front of them, but unfortunately, they've kind of painted themselves in a corner. I think this small side pod design just doesn't work.
no.
But the cost and the points it would take to develop a car back to nearer the norm. I mean, did they say is it 2026 when we're getting the next regulation changes? They say.
Well, 2026 would be engines as well, won't it?
So I think Merc are going to have to try and just work with this until then,
Yeah.
because obviously, like I say,
Well,
to
because Audi coming in 2026.
yeah, and Ford.
They're not. They're going with Red Bull, aren't they?
Yeah,
Gonna be a bit weird. I know they're going in as a sponsor. Well, they're supposed to be going as a sponsor, but
I tell you, it just says wonders to me when at a time when the entire world is apparently going electric mad. Formula E is dying a death, and we've got new manufacturers going into F1.
yeah.
What does that tell you about what the manufacturers think the world's doing?
Hmm. But where's the most money at the minute? What racing series seems to bring the most money at the point? At this point,
Gotta be F1, hasn't it?
it will be. I mean, look at the calendar this year.
23 race. I still say we're bordering on the insane with that.
Well, it was supposed to be 24, but China got dropped, didn't it?
Hmm. And Russia's now probably not going to happen again for a long time.
Yeah, I can't see that coming back. I mean, you had the likes of South Africa, which didn't happen. There was talks about that. Obviously,
Wasn't that just down to circuit accreditation they couldn't quite get?
no, there was a bit of corruption gone wrong again.
Of course there was. It was Africa.
And
But
I
I thought a
mean,
couple of them circuits, because obviously it's getting what they call the gold accreditation to be able to host F1's not the easiest. You've got to have all the facilities in place.
yeah,
It's one of the reasons why in England we don't get Donington and that doing it anymore, because even though they did in the past, the circuit is just not capable anymore.
hmm, now look, LaSalle. Obviously, we've got Qatar this year.
Yeah, all the game stuff was talking about that, wasn't it?
Well, that was something to do with the drop as well. I just
And of course, Vegas.
the calendar is one of the most. I know we're going away from the race, but the calendar is one of the most, according, they keep saying, oh yeah, F1 wants to be, carbon neutral by blah de blah de blah, such and such date. And it's like, you want to be carbon neutral, but yet you keep,
You mess about all over the bloody planet.
yeah, you keep going from the likes of, you got to go from Saudi to Australia, but then you've got to go from Australia to Azerbaijan, then to America, back into Europe, to then go to Canada, to come back to Europe, into Britain, quite class that as Europe,
Well,
then
we are
back,
still. No, we are still. Let's not take that debate. But we are Europe. We're just
we
not
are,
European Union.
yeah,
There is a marked difference.
yeah, well back, back to Europe for a long time, then across to Asia, then back out to like UAE territory for Qatar and stuff, then back to the States for the Circuit of Americas
Hmm.
or quarter, then to Mexico, Brazil, back to Vegas,
Yeah, but at least there you stayed on one continent, sort of thing. That's still not actually as big as this.
and then back to
It's
the
the
UAE for
because Abu
Abu.
Dhabi pays a lot of money to be the finale.
Yeah, which was what I'm getting the feeling is why Bahrain is becoming the host race because money is being chucked.
I think it's also to do with they've moved the testing out there instead of Barcelona,
Yeah,
and it's actually probably almost the other way. It's not a case of money being chucked; it's a case of well, the
convenience.
cars are here. Let's not spend the money to ship them to another part of the world.
Hmm. But yeah, it's one of the. I know we've had the discussion before. We've always said, weather plays a part, and
Oh,
when
it 100% does. Yeah,
other
you got
events that are happening at the tracks, that's why they probably slot it around the dates they do.
well, not just the tracks; it's other events in general,
Hmm.
and it's also to do with teams and stuff. Because these teams are probably don't forget McLaren have like the IndyCar teams and that. I can't imagine. I'd imagine there's a bit of crossover goes on.
Oh yeah, and it's just it's mad to think, they kept pushing all that carbon neutral stuff, but yet they've still not managed to organise. We would have had China in there as well.
Hmm.
Hence why we've got a. Where's that gap at? There's another big gap somewhere.
I can't remember now, and I haven't got the calendar up in front of me.
17th to the 19th of March, 31st of March to the 2nd of April is Australia. Oh, there it is, yeah. From Australia to Azerbaijan, there's a massive gap because it's the 28th of April, and
Hmm.
China would have been slotted right in there.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a gap. Great. Um, and then obviously we have summer break after Belgium. No, yes, summer break after Belgium,
Hmm.
as usual. But hmm, I mean, I saw Red Bull. I saw Max sort of winning Bahrain because it's like he's clear unless he screws. Mm,
Oh, like last year, the cars let them down.
yeah, Red Bull have got
And
it.
as the commentator said, just remember this time last year, Red Bull scored a double DNF.
Yep, but he had. That's the thing. He'd always started at Bahrain, but he'd never had a podium there.
No. Perez has actually won there, but not in a Red Bull.
No, it was in a Racing
Force
Point.
India.
Sorry, Aston Martin.
No, it wasn't an Aston, by the. No,
No, it
Perez
was.
never drove an Aston.
No, it was BW. They were sponsored by BWT, but it was. Yeah, it was Force India before
Aston
they.
Martin took over. It was.
they
It actually technically wasn't the Bahrain Grand Prix. It was that
no,
Sakhir Grand Prix, wasn't it?
yeah. Is that where he went from whatever to winning
Yeah, he
it?
got spun out on the first lap, didn't he? Ended up right at the back
From last to
and
first.
drove his way right through to win
Bit like one of your miracle drives.
it. No wrong with my miracle drives.
But yeah, the race was just what it was. It was just yes, you had your
We had some interesting battles in the midfield. We had Ocon's battle with the pit lane
and the
penalty giver.
FIA. Yeah.
I mean, he ended up with 20 seconds of penalties. That's the kind of thing we end up with.
Was it 20 or 35 in the end?
He got 5 originally for the start infringement. He then got another 5 for the guys working on the car. And then he got 10 for the guys working on the car. And then he got another 5 for speeding in the pit lane. Now, the only good thing is, at least in real life, he could serve all 15 at once. You know what the game's like? It only makes you serve 5 at a time.
Yeah.
But yeah, he ended up.
It that was just like
But I mean, it was one of those races we had no safety cars.
no. Bahrain's a usual. Like I say, we didn't have a full safety car. We had a VSC,
Hmm.
and the VSC was because of carbon fiber on the track.
Yeah.
The FIA didn't even meatball flag Ocon.
It was Ocon when he had the big piece of carbon fibre hanging off the front.
Yeah, they didn't meatball him. They didn't chuck it.
They obviously felt it wasn't that big an issue. I know the commentators were going on about it, but
Mm. And another thing about what Sky have done recently, and I get why they're trying to do it, but they were really plugging this new onboard.
yeah, they thought you can ride on board with any car you want.
Yeah, and listening on team radio and stuff like that. They were really plugging that.
Mm.
As long as they don't,
Because
as long as they don't bring drone camera back, we'll be all right.
you really didn't like drone cam, did you?
It was awful. Like I say, I'm a owner myself, and I'm to
Well, we know you drone on occasions.
no, but you watch that on a big screen telly, and you see the drone moving the way it was. Somebody suffering from motion sickness would feel physically ill if it's that bad. Yeah, I didn't like the drone camera, but what were you gonna say about the onboard thing?
It's just Sky pushing obviously what they've spent the money on lately, isn't it? Yeah, like
Hmm.
trying to justify the money they get off you every month.
Oh yeah.
I must admit, I didn't try it myself, even though I was watching on a Q box. I didn't.
Yeah. I got a good deal out of them this year. Not Sky, well, Sky themselves, but it's now TV in it. But I
You,
I got a good deal. 20 quid for
it's
20 quid for 12 months.
not bad. Yeah, I kind of flip between Sky is what it is. I mean, I've said it before. Still on the show, I say to you, and this is such a first world rant, and to anyone outside the UK makes no sense. But
Mm,
for years, people used to complain that Sky would be like £100 a month if you had high packages.
yeah.
But now people go and pay a tenner to Netflix, a tenner to Amazon, a tenner to
Mm,
Discovery, a tenner to Paramount, a tenner to frigging this, that, and the other. I think, oh, I'm getting such a good deal because I'm now giving 80 quid to 8 different companies rather than 80 quid to one company.
yeah. But
At least when Sky had the monopoly, you could go to one place and get everything.
yeah,
Like as I've told you, I'm pissed off that that second series of Your Honor has gone to frigging Paramount Plus.
mm, but it's the way it is.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's just what TV's like in this country. I mean, if you don't want to pay Sky, there are other methods, some legal, some not, and
mm,
take your choice.
but yeah, I mean,
Excuse me.
as you know, I use like Now TV, and I've had yes, it's Sky, but I've had good deals out of them
Mm,
for what being able to watch and the races to be able to do the podcast. I mean, I'll never get away with watch-alongs
mm.
on Twitch. I'll never get away with it. It's been a thought that's been in my head because I was wondering how a certain other um people used to do it. WTF1.
mm.
I want to know how the hell they did it. But unfortunately, it's not. It's not the same. I've
I
tried.
couldn't
I've
tell
tried.
you.
I've tried to like have a look at what sort of stuff they're producing as well, and it's like it's not the same anymore. It just doesn't have the dry, well, not the dry, but the spark that Matt
The
had.
same way that Top Gear wasn't the same once the main three left.
Yeah,
There's just a certain magic sometimes that you
replicate.
can't, well, you can't force it.
Yeah,
You can't expect it. If it happens, it happens.
yeah. And I mean, what's your thoughts on this gonna be on this season then?
Uh,
I know we've only had a race so far.
Looking very interesting to me, I must admit. It's looking, we've got a few new faces. As I said, Aston Martin. I mean, Williams put on a really good, strong showing.
Yeah,
Albon got a point, and Sargent was it 12th?
12. Logan Sargent.
Sergeant Logan.
Hmm. Logan Sargent was
12. So you know what
12.
I mean. So it's not like that's a massive. I think that's it. I think where they're saying, what happened to Haas. I don't necessarily think it's something happened to Haas. I think it's more just other teams have got better.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, when teams go up, somebody else has to go down to match.
Piastri had his debut. Was kind of looking good. Still don't rate the guy. And a DNF for him because he had a problem
Thing is,
with.
though, is Piastri there because is Piastri what Merc are hoping are their next ticket?
Nah.
Because I've said to you right now, I think Merc have an issue. If Hamilton decides at the end of this year,
To go.
Merc to me have a problem.
Well, they got Mick.
Would you be ready to throw straight into the main car? You'd want him a season as a second driver, really, wouldn't you? And I mean, we've done if we go through the teams. Lando is tied to McLaren until about 2026, something like that.
I believe so. He had the contract extension.
Piastri's the big green. I don't think they have Albon because of his Red Bull links. So unless there's a curveball option, which is they manage to coax someone like Leclerc out of Ferrari,
Yeah, they're pretty much stuck.
I think the likes of Piastri is what they're thinking is the future.
Yeah, I. hmm, I don't. I think F1 are messed up here. I'm looking through the results page for Bahrain, and apparently at the bottom it says no, Nico Hulkenberg. Well, Hulkenberg received 15-second time penalty for multiple track limit
Track
violations.
limits, yeah, he did towards the
Did
end of the
he?
race. we got marked at the top of the thing saying he was on black and what's it flag.
Oh, I know he was on that, but I didn't realise he'd received a time penalty.
Mm.
Oh, that's interesting. I thought they'd messed up. Um, but yeah, like I say, I'm not sure about Hulkenberg coming back to Haas. I get why they've done it. I get, you know, two experienced guys in the car. But if that car's
Mm.
not underneath them, I mean, they've tried to save money. I mean, you've seen the size of Haas's pit box. They're
I know it's like a three-person one. He's like tiny.
yeah, and it's like, is that them now trying to save money to plow into the car?
I think that's a lot of it. Yeah, I think it's budget caps and just trying to. Yeah, I think they got a lot of positive out of last season, which they did. We saw it,
Hmm.
and they were trying to build on it. Now, like I said, I don't think necessarily read a lot of bad into them this year. I mean, don't forget, Hulk got into Q3.
I know that was the thing.
Like I said, I just think some other teams. If you think if both McLaren and both Aston Martin and Williams have made a good step forwards, that's four cars that passed them.
Hmm.
And they were probably only fourth or fifth best car before that.
I
So
mean,
that puts you pretty much down at the back.
yeah, because Hulk was starting in 10th after qualifying.
And I think K-Mag was about 14th, wasn't he?
K-Mag started 17th.
17th in the end, right?
Hmm. I've got the qualifying results in front of me.
Mm. I've no doubt you
Um,
did. That's why I'm not arguing with you.
yeah, because Gasly started last. De Vries, Piastri, K-Mag, Logan Sargent, Albon, because he got knocked out of Q2. Uh, then you had Yuki, Guan Yu Zhou, Bottas, Norris, Hulkenberg, Ocon, Stroll, Hamilton, Russell. Alonso started 5th.
Mm.
Then Sainz and Leclerc, Perez and Max. And I mean, it's kind of crazy that these times, you had Max that set a 129.7, Perez 129.8. Obviously, Leclerc was a 130 dead and a
Mm.
130.1 for Sainz, but Alonso was there with a 130.3.
So right up there.
Yeah, and it was like, yet again, going back to him, he knows how to get the best out of a car, but
Oh
he,
yeah.
he also knows when a car's not working for him. But I bet he didn't expect. I mean, it was good luck on their part for Leclerc and his Ferrari issue.
Mm. But let's be honest, that only gained them one place. They had the Mercs beaten on raw pace.
Oh yeah, they had the Mercs beaten, but he also the thing is, Alonso's a bit like Perez. He knows how to manage tyres.
He knows how to manage the entire race.
Hmm. But he
As you say,
does.
he spends most of his time managing everybody else's cars.
Yeah. And I get why Formula One is doing what they're doing, bringing the younger talent in. But
Because
I,
at some point we need to, or else we'll run
well,
out.
yeah, that's what I mean. But you've noticed that some of them, like for the likes of Perez and Alonso and the drivers that have the experience, they can prove that they've still got it.
Oh yeah.
It was just a shame that Kimi. going, Kimi was never really given another chance.
Well, to be fair, he did that first season in the Lotus. He did really well,
Hmm,
but that was just one of those. Unfortunately, not everybody can have a top run car.
no. But it's like Vettel as well. Vettel was doing well. Obviously,
Hmm.
he was a rebel, but and his Ferrari, he won with Ferrari, but it just didn't. Once you start moving down the order away from the higher teams,
You basically, yeah. There's only what call it three good. At the moment, there's three, possibly four cars you could win a race with.
Red Bull,
Red Bull, Ferrari,
Ferrari,
I say
poss Merc,
Merco and Aston.
yeah, Merc,
You could theoretically win a race with any of those. I'd
yeah,
say the other six you've not really got a chance with.
no,
So that means that out of 20 cars, only 8 of them are potentially capable. So not everybody's able to get a race winning car. That's just life.
mm,
Now, unfortunately, especially somebody who's on the back end of their career, he's not going to get first choice because the teams don't necessarily want the older guys in because you pour a lot of time and money developing one for a guy who's going to go and retire next year.
yeah,
At least if you put it into a young guy, you can normally tie him into a good contract and you've got a future there.
yeah, and it's just see Hamilton made a statement. He turned around and said, that he probably wouldn't retire until he got number eight. But if he has a shit season this year,
So I
uh,
say he won't until he gets number 8, but there is absolutely no guarantee that he's going to be anywhere near a car capable of it.
no,
Again, really. And I don't know, that sounds horrible, but that's.
I
I
think
can't see Merck pulling out of this nosedive unless they completely abandon this design. And I think they're too proud to do that.
the weird thing is, Toto would come out with something saying that you know they've got upgrades for Imola and everything, but then they will look at scrapping and that all stuff like that. But it's like
It's one of those, it's a difficult one
you
because, like
take
I
it with
say,
a
because
pinch of salt.
to redesign from the ground up's major, major work. And in fact, I don't think it's doable in the budget caps.
No,
But you hit a point where how much time do you spend developing what clearly isn't good?
or to put your expression is how much time do you spend polishing a turd?
You can't polish a turbo, you can roll it in glitter and make it sparkle.
But the car's not to the shit. The car's not to the shitbox level it was last year.
You say that, but they finished about the same gap behind Red Bull that they did last year. Now the problem is, it's alright you think, because we're going about, oh yeah, well they're 6 tenths of a second behind right now.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah, we can probably develop 6 tenths of a second out of that car. But all the other teams are developing at the same time, so the target you're aiming for is constantly moving.
Yeah, but the upgrade that they were going to bring, or whether they bring to Imola, is only going to give them 1 point. No, is what did they say? 0 point. Basically, it's like a tenth of improvement in
Yeah, but
time.
you've kind of got to assume that every other team's probably got similar
Oh yeah.
packages on the way.
Like I say, it's early season. We'll see.
Oh yeah, we can't read a lot into it right now.
No, no. Let's give it. Let's give it till.
Come back at about Imola and then we may be able to talk.
Yeah. We'll see what happens after Imola because it's going to be. It's going to
Interesting.
be an interesting season.
I will say well deserved driver of the day for Fernando. I honestly think that was.
Oh
The
yeah,
right call. He survived several Larry incidents.
yeah. And another teammate impact. But it is lucky it didn't puncture him. If that had a punctured his
Oh,
tyre,
that wasn't far from both Aston Martins in a barrier,
yeah,
but instead it was both continued to a third and a sixth, which was fantastic result for that team.
yeah.
But again, the way he overtook Hamilton when he did the move on Sainz.
Mm. Oh, it was the Hamilton move was the best.
I know the Sainz one we were going to fight the oversteer and full left hand turning towards Sainz's car.
I know.
And as far as I'm aware, didn't touch.
No, they didn't.
Wasn't far off,
Nope.
but didn't touch.
But it was like the Hamilton where he ends up going around the outside,
Yeah.
switches back on him. I mean, apparently they've made the wing mirrors bigger as well.
Why have I got visions of having like bus mirrors off the side of them or something?
Well, that was the discussion. They've actually made the wing mirrors a bit bigger
They're
because
still probably pretty much useless.
not maybe, but Hamilton ended up complaining about a tear off in in his rear brake duct.
I heard one because we were talking about that before. Because was it Yuki thought he had one in his side pod at one point?
Hmm.
Does that seem to have become more of an issue recently, or is it just me?
No, the tear offs are an issue. They need to do something about the tear offs
Well, Brundle said when he raced, it was sort of an unwritten rule that you had to drop them in the car.
in a pocket or something.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Or even if you just dropped them down into the footwell, I'm sure there's not a lot in there
could.
that you're going to disturb, is there? Unless you're around your foot, but
Well,
it's not like it's a bottle that's going to get jammed under a pedal.
no, as long as it doesn't, as long as it didn't get into a hot and melt plastic.
There's plenty of other plastic things in that cockpit that would melt if it was hot enough for that to be an issue.
Well, yeah. But for them to be able to see that out of the mirrors must be a bit bigger.
Hmm.
But they seemed very. Everybody in that first corner was just very sort of gingerly. They were definitely playing it safe.
Yeah,
Down
but it's
into.
first corner of the first race. Nobody wants to be the one who bins the car there.
Stroll nearly did.
To be fair, you can actually put a little bit of that blame onto it. As you said, Alonso was cutting back hard.
Yeah, but if Alonso hadn't cut back hard, he'd have gone at the side of. Where was he at? Uh,
I think he was fighting with
Hamilton.
George at that point, wasn't he?
He was fighting with either Hamilton or Russell.
Hmm.
He was fighting with one of the Mercs. So if he hadn't cut back hard, then
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm just hoping that this season that changes have been made at Silverstone
Hmm.
because you don't want a repeat of last season.
Oh yeah.
Have they done the changes to Spain then?
As far as I'm aware, yes. That's sure that was the link
I,
that we got
I
shown the other
know,
day.
yeah, I know you'd shown some, but it was I couldn't remember if they'd actually done it or not. It's going to be interesting taking that.
Hmm.
I don't like the last chicane. Is it? Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, you never liked the last chicane there anyway.
I
So
never
anything that
liked that
takes that
last.
away is
Yeah, I don't
probably
like the
doing you a
last.
favour.
Yeah, I don't like the last chicane at Spain.
It's going to make that last corner and onto the main straight
Very
very, very
quick.
fast, though.
Yeah,
Especially if we've got a DRS zone down there. That's going to be a very, very quick piece of time.
unless they decide to shorten the DRS zones like they did at Bahrain.
Possibly might find the need to because it might end up. But I don't know. We haven't seen the full breakdown
No,
of it yet.
but because they did, didn't they? They shortened one of the DRS zones.
Yeah.
Uh, is there anything you want to add before we wrap up?
We've obviously got the other thing to talk about still, the
Yeah,
new addition for this season. From the race, no, really, I think we've covered. I mean, I'm interested to hear feedback from the guys listening. What did you guys think? Was it as you expected? What surprised you? Like I say, I will say none of us saw the Aston Martin coming. Other than that, Red Bull were keen to get the monkey off the back, which was what happened last year at Bahrain.
yeah.
But as was it Crofty said, was it for the last 9 years? The person who finished second at the season opener went on to win the championship.
Oh Jesus, that's Perez, wasn't it?
Yeah,
No, I mean it was Max then, but it was Perez that finished second this
mm,
year. And like I've said,
yeah.
Perez.
The in fact, I must have been said because Max DNF. I think it must have been basically it was along the lines of whoever for the last about 9 years the winner at Bahrain has not won the championship.
No,
Which I know is superstitious bull crap, but it's always quite entertaining.
yeah, well Leclerc won last year. Was it
Mm,
Leclerc? And then didn't win the championship because Max did.
yeah, yeah. We say Max DNF'd, as we remember. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's all I've got to add. Just nice to see some of the graphics were updated a little bit as well. We had some new, easier to read. I felt in places.
When when they got it right, of course, because I mean,
Had
dur
Max on the wrong tires at one point.
yeah, and during practice there was no graphics at all. During one practice session, the graphics cut out because they screwed up.
Oh right.
Was it during the race or was it during practice?
I
They
think it was.
accidentally, or was it qualifying? They accidentally kept the F1 replay graphic up,
Yes, I think that was even the race. I remember seeing that.
and it's
We had the
like
replay graphic up, and it wasn't a replay; it was live.
it was live, and it was like, um, oops. But as we say, start the season, technical, there's gonna be
Mm.
niggling issues. Must have been somebody's first day on the job in the
And probably the last.
graphics room. How did the commentators not see that? Because don't they get the live feed?
Yeah, they get the TV feed. Just they're watching 5 other screens at the same time.
Yeah, because I'm sure if
Anyway,
Croft,
as we know, Croft is quite known for not note. There's times when Ivan, there's something to me that's obvious that just because they're looking at other things.
yeah, and it's just like if I think if Crofty would have seen that, he probably would have said something.
Oh yeah,
So new for the 2023 season, we're not doing predictions anymore. We're not going to bring.
well, we never did predictions. We tried it and then it never.
We try, yeah, but not everybody was here all the time, and
Hmm.
it got a little bit, you know, it got a bit awry. Well, this, ladies and gentlemen, isn't going to go awry because we can keep an eye on this. So if I do this, this is our mini league in the Fantasy Formula One. So obviously, me and David have got one team only. So obviously, as you can see where my cursor is, that's my team. That is David's team. These are Alan's teams.
Yeah, for some reason Alan went for the let's run everything approach.
But kind of hasn't helped him so far, has it?
No, you there, you jammy twit, seems to have.
Managed to get in the lead.
Yeah.
So my team is here. You know, Max. And that's the weirdest thing because Ocon and Gasly lost me points, and so did McLaren.
No, Gasly gained you 20.
Oh no,
It says
sorry.
Gasly plus 20 on my screen.
Oh yeah, it is. No, Gasly got me 20. Ocon lost me 17, and McLaren lost me 10.
Well, it's the fact that you doubled on your Max Verstappen as well. One, it was the good for doing you a real win.
I knew I was going to double on Max. I was going to definitely double down on Max. So one of Alan's teams And that's the weirdest thing. I don't get why he got. It's saying on obviously on his team, what first team? Why is he getting a non-negative buff?
I've no unless he unlocks something. Because you've got like the unlocks things, haven't you? The
Hmm.
chips. Unless it's one of those.
Yeah. Which is kind of weird because he does have negative points, as you
Ah,
can
yeah.
see.
One chip can be selected per race week. I didn't know about these until
I
now.
didn't know about that either. Right, I need to look at
If
that.
you, yeah, I don't know if I do that off stream, but if you look,
Yeah, I need to look at that. Um, but he did have negative points there.
hmm,
And then Alan's other team, yeah, because he put the autopilot thing on and all for that one. For
hmm.
so as you can see, Alan has gone for, and me and Alan were discussing something. We were discussing, I think it was last Friday. We basically had said, what's the betting? Before we even knew could view David's team, we said, what is the betting? David goes for Perez because David likes to and has made no,
Oh yeah, I've been no close. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Sergio.
yeah, and we both said he will go for Perez, and he did. So, you know, I think what cost you
What cost me is Leclerc.
was Leclerc and McLaren, really. And then obviously Alan's last team, he's got Alonso, Norris, Ocon, De Vries, Leclerc, McLaren, and Aston Martin. So that team's not doing him so good. But right now, after one race, which is unusual for me, I'm actually winning. But I know that's not going to last. But it might. We'll see. Um, but yeah, that's basically what it is at the moment. So yeah, we're gonna finish this one off here. So hopefully you have enjoyed listening to this. It will be under on a YouTube playlist under a podcast because that's something brand new for YouTube. So we're trying it that way, but it's still on our playlist anyways. It's just classed as a podcast.
Fair enough.
So yeah, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Let us know your thoughts of the race in the comments. All the links are in the description, and we shall see you next time. So until then,
So long, folks, and thank you for listening.
goodbye for now.